Here's someone we haven't heard from in a while. Earl Thomas, former Seahawks safety. He was a guest on Josina Anderson's podcast.
I know for sure that 2013 team, that we don't win a Super Bowl without me. Mm-hmm. We don't go back without me either. So that's just that.
You know, is that something that you would protest or
I wouldn't
have a
protest
problem
it.
with it?
I wouldn't
Loose
protest
leave
it.
over?
I wouldn't protest it. I just know that I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, you know, I came in with Eric Berry. Eric Berry is a good safety. Who else they got? Who else they got this decade? It's like that. Nobody. I went like way out there past these guys. Like Sherm got his attitude for me. Cam got his attitude for me. Like every time they get mad at me for saying these things. That's why I don't like to go into detail about these things.
What do you think, Bump?
I think that I'm looking at his numbers right now. Right, he's got 30 interceptions. He has 2 interceptions for touchdowns. He definitely played a big part in that defense. He can play sideline to sideline.
That's what it is.
He's one of the reasons why they can stay in that cover 3.
Yes.
Because he can cover both seams. He can help out the corners over there. He was a big part of that. And he went out as a Pro Bowler. In 2019 with the Baltimore Ravens, he was a Pro Bowler. I think his numbers support him being a Pro Bowler. All-Pro 1, 2, 3 times in first team. Second team 2 times. Defensive Player of the Year. Got voted 3rd for Defensive Player of the Year. His numbers support that he's a Pro Bowler. So as crazy as you think he might sound, look at his numbers. I think that comment's legit.
I think ego can be incredibly off-putting to a lot of people, understandably. I also think it doesn't mean that what someone's saying is wrong. And as far as whether or not the other members of the Legion of Boom got their attitude and their persona from Earl, I don't know those interpersonal relationships. I was in that locker room, but like I don't know them like that and like where that kind of started and the personalities were adopted. I don't know that that's true. But I do know that, to your point, Earl's ranginess, speed, physicality, that defense works because of him. And we saw how it fundamentally fell apart when you did not have someone with his ability. And maybe you can say the same about, you know, that defense doesn't work without Sherm. Maybe the defense doesn't work without Cam. Like, you did need all the pieces. But he is right in that Pete Carroll's scheme does not work without his ability.
He's instrumental in that scheme.
Yeah.
It's crazy how aggressive the corners were allowed to play because they knew Earl was back there roaming. It was impressive, man. People forget. That's the tough part about guys getting voted into the Hall of Fame is that you let personalities and off-the-field stuff kind of determine whether you feel like they're worthy or not. We're talking about football. This man is worthy.
Okay, one more piece of info from this podcast. It's called The Exhibit with Josina Anderson. Earl Thomas also says that he would potentially be willing to play for another team still at age 35.
Oh, I know I still can play. I know I still can play. It has to be a good atmosphere where coach is going to let me go out there and play, communicate. I know the plays. I know the formations. Just a good atmosphere where they understand me.
This is one where I don't know.
All right, this is where you lose me. This is where you lose me, Earl.
All respect to Earl, future Hall of Famer.
Listen, there's if you look at, and it's simple. If you just look at Earl, he don't look like he's in football shape. He's not in bad shape. He looks good, but he's not in football shape. And here's the rule with the NFL: if you are not on a football team, unless you are a quarterback, quarterbacks get pulled off the bench or the couch all the time.
Sure.
If you're not on a roster for 3 years, typically your career is over with. It's been 5 of them things since he's been out there. So I think he probably feels like it. His body feels good, but there's a 22, 23-year-old out there who's ready to go right now. This is where he loses me a bit.